Nina shabiki wangu mmoja kutoka Kenya, anapenda kuwasiliana na mimi kwa njia ya WhatsApp. Huyu shabiki yangu huwa ana hasira sana, hata akiwa anaongea voice note zake ana hasira sana na mimi, na hasira yake ni namna ninavyoinenea Kenya. Sasa huyu rafiki yangu jana amenitumia screenshot akiniambia kwamba Tanzania ni nchi ya pili kwa rushwa Afrika Mashariki. Sasa kilichonifanya nishtuke sio Tanzania kuwa namba 2 kwa rushwa Afrika Mashariki, eti nchi ya kwanza kwa rushwa Afrika Mashariki na Kati ni Rwanda. Unajua rafiki yangu, usichokijua wewe Mkenya, na hii ni shida iko kwenye mpaka kwenye labda your education system did not teach you this. Kazi ya media sio kukuelimisha au kukupa habari sahihi. Kazi ya media ni kukuprogram wewe katika mrengo fulani. I want to prove this to you. Nataka nikusaidie kwanza uelewe. Nchi zote ambazo tunaambiwa zina sifa mbaya katika uso wa dunia hii ndizo nchi ambazo raia wake wanaishi maisha mazuri. Tuanze na hiyo Rwanda uliyoitaja. Nenda Rwanda linganisha na Kenya. Au just tell your Kenyan fellow how Rwandans are living compared to Kenya. Alafu waambie wa Amerika, kati ya wao wa Amerika na wa China ni wakina nani wanaishi the best life. Usiwaambie wa China, no, just tell Americans comparing to China who are living the best life. Waambie hao wa Amerika, kati ya wao na wa Russia ni wakina nani wanaishi maisha bora. Lakini kwenye media zako wewe bwana Mkenya rafiki yangu utaambiwa Putin is dictator, Xi Jinping is dictator, Kagame is disrupting peace in Congo. Lakini kama Kagame angekuwa baba yako anakuletea ugali, kaenda kupora, kaenda kufanya nini, wewe utafurahia tu. Sasa na mtoto wa jambazi, kazi yake ni kula kujigaragaza, hawazi baba kapata wapi. Xi Jinping ni dictator, analeta ugali, watoto wake bilioni 1.5 wanakula. Putin expansionist, analeta ugali, wa Russia wanakula. Twende kwa kina demokrasia. Homeless kuanzia mlango wa ikulu ya Marekani, nenda Washington DC, pale mlangoni pa ikulu ya Trump kuna homeless wamelala. Nenda ikulu ya Kremlin kama utakuta homeless. Nenda ikulu ya Xi Jinping kama utakuta homeless. Buddha, media is not there to tell you the truth. Buddha, you need to respect the government and not to trust the government. Heshimu serikali, usiamini serikali Buddha. The number 1 country ranking in corruption in the world is America. Nchi inayoongoza kwa rushwa duniani ni Marekani. Uthibitisho huu hapa anausema Trump mwenyewe akishirikiana na Elon Musk aliyompa hiyo kazi ya kuchimba hali ya rushwa na ufisadi ndani ya taifa la Marekani. BBC is not there to give you this news. Kazi ya hizi Swahili European based media, hizi idhaa za Kiswahili za magharibi ni kutuprogram sisi tuamini kwamba wao wanaishi maisha bora na hawana shida. Ndugu yangu, elimu ipo kuanzia darasa la kwanza mpaka high school. Hapo ndipo unapofundishwa ukweli. Hakuna sehemu shuleni tulifundishwa kwamba soda ni kinywaji kizuri, lakini huku duniani huwezi kuidemonize soda, utafungwa, utakufa jela. Ni kitu gani nataka nikwambie wewe Mkenya? I think your education system is deceiving you a lot. Na nitakuja na mrejesho wa comparison between Tanzanian education and Kenya, kwa sababu uliniambia nyie mna elimu bora. Nyie hamna elimu bora. Kama vile Marekani hawana elimu bora. Mtu ana graduate Harvard University, anaenda kuwa porno star, anaenda kuvua nguo acheze picha za ngono ndo apate hela. Pata kwanza hii habari ya nchi inayoongoza kwa rushwa na ufisadi duniani, Marekani. Hichi ndicho kitengo cha Elon Musk alichopewa na Trump, na amepewa mamlaka makubwa mno. Anazivamia ofisi za serikali kibabe na anaingilia security system ya ofisi za serikali kibabe. Huyo ndio Elon Musk na Trump wanavyoisafisha Marekani. Buddha, ungesema Tanzania inaongoza kwa rushwa Afrika Mashariki, ningeamini. Lakini Rwanda, in East African Central, hakuna wananchi wanaishi maisha mazuri kama wananchi wa Rwanda, Buddha. Just like duniani hakuna watu wanaoenjoy maisha kama wa China, wa Russia. Lazima baba zao, yani marais wa nchi husika, wapewe sifa mbaya kwa sababu wanawapenda wananchi wao. Listen to Elon Musk and Trump wakikubali kwamba Marekani ndio nchi yenye rushwa na ufisadi. Anafanya kazi serikalini, ana miaka 150. Huyo yuko hai kweli? Alafu ananiambia Afrika ndio tunaongoza kwa rushwa. Hiyo ndio US.
And some of the things that we found which are shocking, billions and billions of dollars in waste, fraud and abuse. And I think it's very important, and that's one of the reasons I got elected. I said we're going to do that. Nobody had any idea it was that bad, that sick and that corrupt. And it seems hard to believe that judges want to try and stop us from looking for corruption, especially when we found hundreds of millions of dollars worth, much more than that, in just a short period of time. We want to weed out the corruption And it seems hard to believe that a judge could say, we don't want you to do that. Well, so maybe we have to look at the judges, because that's a very serious, I think it's a very serious violation. I'll ask Elon Musk to say a few words, and we'll take some questions. Elon, go ahead. And also, could you mention some of the things that your team has found, some of the crazy numbers, including the woman that walked away with about 30 million,
right,
etc.?
Well, we do find it sort of rather odd that there are quite a few people in the bureaucracy who have ostensibly a salary of a few $100,000, but somehow manage to accrue tens of millions of dollars in net worth while they are in that position, which is, what happened at USAID. We're just curious as to where it came from. Maybe they're very good at investing, in which case we should take their investment advice, perhaps. But just there seems to be mysteriously they get wealthy. We don't know why. Where does it come from? And I think the reality is that they're getting wealthy at taxpayer expense. That's the honest truth of it. So, there's crazy things like just cursory examination of Social Security, and we've got people in there that are 150 years old. Now, do you know anyone who's 150? I don't. Okay. They should be on the Guinness Book of World Records. They're missing out. So, that's the case where, I think they're probably dead. It's my guess. Or they should be very famous, one of the two. And then there's a whole bunch of Social Security payments where there's no identifying information. Well, why is there no identifying information? Obviously, we want to make sure that people who deserve to receive Social Security do receive it, and that they receive it quickly and accurately. I'll tell you another crazy thing. So, one of the things is we are trying to sort of right-size the federal bureaucracy, just make sure that this. Obviously, there need to be a lot of people working for the federal government, but not as many as currently. So we're saying, let's, if people can retire, with full benefits and everything, that would be good. They can retire, get their retirement payments, everything. And then we were told, this is actually, I think, a great anecdote, because we're told the most number of people that could retire possibly in a month is 10,000. We're like, well, why is that? Well, because all the retirement paperwork is manual on paper. It's manually calculated, then written down on a piece of paper. Then it goes down a mine. And what do you mean a mine? Yeah, there's a limestone mine where we store all the retirement paperwork. And you look at a picture of this mine. We'll post some pictures afterwards. And this mine looks like something out of the 50s because it was started in 1955. So it looks like it's like a time warp. And then the speed, then the limiting factor is the speed at which the mine shaft elevator can move determines how many people can retire from the federal government. And the elevator breaks down sometimes, and then nobody can retire. Doesn't that sound crazy? There's 1,000 people that work on this. So I think if we can take those people and say, you know what, instead of working in a mine shaft and carrying manila envelopes to boxes in a mine shaft, you could do practically anything else, and you would add to the goods and services of the United States in a more useful way. So anyway, so I think that's an example. At a high level, if you say how do we increase prosperity, is we get people to shift from roles that are low to negative productivity to high productivity roles. And so increase the total output of goods and services, which means that there's a higher standard of living available for everyone.
Well, guy doing this. Now, one thing also that Elon hasn't really mentioned are the groups of people that are getting some of these payments. They're ridiculous. And we're talking about billions of dollars that we've already found. We found fraud and abuse. I would say those two words as opposed to the third word that I usually use, but in this case, fraud and abuse. It's abusive because most of these things are virtually made up, or certainly money shouldn't be sent to them. And you know what I'm talking about. It's crazy. So, but we're talking about tens of billions of dollars that we've already found. And now a judge who's an activist judge wants to try and stop us from doing this. Why? Why would they want to do that? I campaigned on this. I campaigned on the fact that I said government is corrupt. And it is very corrupt. It's very, very, it's also foolish. As an example, a man has a contract for 3 months, and the contract ends, but they keep paying him for the next 20 years, because nobody ends a contract. You got a lot of that. You have a contract that's a 3-month contract. Now, normally, if you're in a small, in all fairness, it's the size of this thing is so big.
Yeah.
But if you have a contract and you're in a regular business, you end the contract in 3 months. It's a consultant. Here's a contract for 3 months, but it goes on for 20 years. And the guy doesn't say that he got money for 20 years, They don't say it. They just keep getting checks month after month. And you have various things like that, and even much worse than that, actually, much worse. And I guess you call that incompetence, maybe.
Yeah.
It could be corruption. It could be deals made on both sides, where the guy gets the money, he kicks. I think there's a lot of kickback here. I see a lot of kickback here.
There's a lot of kickbacks.
Tremendous kickback, because nobody could be so stupid to give out some of these contracts, so he has to get a kickback. So that's what I got elected for, that and borders and military and a lot of things, but this is a big part of it. And I hope that the court system is going to allow us to do what we have to do. We got elected to among other things, find all of this fraud, abuse, all of this horrible stuff going on. And we've already found billions of dollars, not like a little bit, billions, many billions of dollars. And when you get down to it, it's going to be probably close to $1 trillion. It could be close to $1 trillion that we're going to find. That will have quite an impact on the budget. And you'll go to a judge where they handpick a judge, and he has certain leanings. I'm not knocking anybody for that, but he has certain leanings, and he wants us to stop looking. How do you stop looking? I mean, we've already found it. We have a case in New York where a hotel has paid $59 million, $59 million because it's housing migrants, illegal migrants. All illegal, I believe.
And they were being paid twice the normal room rate at 100% occupancy.
Unbelievable.
So it's a racket.
We had no idea we were going to find this much. And it's open. It's not like complicated. It's
not
simple
that complicated.
Stuff. It's
like
a
lot of work.
We can't believe it. A lot of work, a lot of smart people involved. Very, very smart people. But you're talking about anywhere, maybe $500 billion. It's crazy the kind of numbers you're talking about. It's really crazy. Normally when you're looking at something, you'll find you're looking for 1 out of 100. Here, you're almost reversing it. You look for one that's good.
Yeah.
And you can look at the title and you say, why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? And the public gets it. The public gets it. You've seen the polls. The public is saying, why are we paying all this money? This for years, this has gone on.
and this is big numbers. We're about $100 to $200 billion a year.
Sure.
Serious money.
Mr. Musk, you said on X that an example of the fraud that you have cited was $50 million of condoms was sent to Gaza. But after fact-check this, it apparently Gaza in Mozambique, and the program was to protect them against HIV. So can you correct the statements? It wasn't sent to Hamas, actually. It was sent to Mozambique, which makes sense why condoms was sent there.
Yeah.
And how can we make sure that all the statements that you said were correct, so we can trust what you say?
Well, first of all, some of the things that I say will be incorrect and should be corrected. So nobody's going to bat 1,000. I mean, we will make mistakes, but we'll act quickly to correct any mistakes. I'm not sure we should be sending $50 million worth of condoms to anywhere, frankly. I'm not sure that's something Americans would be really excited about. And that is really an enormous number of condoms, when you think about it. But if it went to Mozambique instead of Gaza, I'm like, okay, that's not as bad, but still, why are we doing that? Dead people, terrorists, known fraudsters, that kind of thing, we should not pay them. But currently we do, which is crazy.
Hundreds, thousands of transactions like that. We have a big team. And for the sake of the country, I hope that the person that's in charge and the other people that report to me that are in charge are allowed to do the right thing, namely make sure everything's honest, legitimate, and competent. But we're looking at just, when you look at USAID, that's one. We're going to look at the military. We're going to look at education. They're much bigger areas. But the USAID is really corrupt. I'll tell you, it's corrupt. It's incompetent, and it's really corrupt. And I can't imagine a judge saying, well, it may be corrupt, but you don't have the right. You got elected to look over the country and to, as we say, make America great again, but you don't have the right to go and look and see whether or not things are right that they're paying or that things are honest that they're paying. And nobody can even believe this. Other people, law professors, they've been saying, how can you take that person's right away? You're supposed to be running the country, but we're not allowed to look at who they're paying it to and what they're paying. We have massive amounts of fraud that we caught. I think we probably caught way over a lot of billions of dollars already in, 2 weeks?
Yes.
And it's going to go to numbers that you're not going to believe. And much, as I said, much is incompetence and much is dishonesty. We have to catch it. And the only way we're going to catch it is to look for it. And if a judge is going to say you're not allowed to look for it, that's pretty sad for our country. I don't understand how it could even work.
Elimika bana Mkenya, usiwe msomi wewe.